after radical jihadists massacred Israeli civilians, raped women, took hostages, protesters here in America cheered them on.
Thank you all for being here, for raising your voices to celebrate the glorious victory of the resistance.
There was some sort of rave or desert party where they were having a great time until the resistance came in electrified hang gliders and took at least several dozen hipsters.
We sent Johnny into the Palestinian protest movement to get a glimpse.
What's going on here today?
Protest in solidarity with the resistance attack on the settler colony that is Israel.
We didn't have no freedom at all. That's why Hamas, did that. You know what I mean?
Hamas, whether you like them or not, has been warning Israel, the oppressor people will respond. And how do you feel about that? I'm happy that my people are responding and they're fighting back. What is your reaction to the music festival this weekend where a lot of innocent people were killed?
We don't want innocent people to die, but it happens, it's war.
I don't condone that, I don't condone violence, I don't condone rape.
But that's what's happening over there.
I know. It is what it is,
These festival goers are not
It is what it is.
They
Well,
are
come on.
settlers.
So they deserved it?
Yes, every settler. Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Here's the reason why I'm doing this. Here in the West, our perspective needs to change of the reality of evil, what's going on outside of our little bubble. There's so much more going on in the world, that you and I don't even think about. And I think this perspective is going to challenge some of us, and it's going to help us to realize there's a lot more going on, my dear friends. And the way we address problems in this world has to change. Anyway, friends, let's take a listen to this. Link in the description below. Like and subscribe to the page. Click the bell icon for more. Let's dial in.
I know the past few days have been really hard to watch. I know this show has been really difficult to watch and to listen to. And so I want to take a moment to explain why I'm showing you all this video and playing all the audio and showing you all the pictures of the atrocities that the terrorist group Hamas has taken and released. Why I'm showing you the abduction of raped women and the kidnapping of families and the murder and burning of children. So there's a reason I'm doing this, because there is an intellectual self-centeredness that predominates among a lot of us in the West. We think everybody thinks like us. So we see somebody do something truly evil, and we think to ourselves, well, that is terrible, but the only reason I would do something like that is if something truly awful happened to me. After all, people are generally reasonable, generally peaceable, generally decent. Everyone I know is. So what awful circumstance could force someone into such terrible, evil behavior? We think, well, if only someone had just made a few concessions, dismantled a few settlements, offered a little more land. After all, we all want the same thing, right? Well, no, we don't. That is the point. We can all tell ourselves these comforting little lies before you see the pictures of what true evil does, but you can't tell those lies to yourself after you see the pictures, after you see the videos, after you listen to the audio, because here's the thing. Nothing anyone has ever done to you or could ever do to you would cause you to do these things. No territorial dispute would cause you to butcher babies. No squabble over territory would cause you to rape and abduct women. No so-called occupation would cause you to kidnap entire families or burn them alive in their homes. The only type of person who would do something like that is a person who isn't like you. A person who thinks differently than you do. A person who does not value life or children or decency the same way that you do. A person who might proclaim, for example, that they love death like you love life. This is Hamas leader Mohammed Deif. Today, you Israelis are fighting those who love death for Allah like you love life, and who compete among themselves for martyrdom like you flee from death. A person who might say we love martyrdom. Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh. We love death like our enemies love life. We love martyrdom, the way in which Hamas leaders died. The kind of person who might call for killing their own children to wipe out the Jews. As Hamas spokesperson from the Al-Sawarka tribe in Gaza, the Palestinian people shall never relinquish the right of return. The Palestinian people shall liberate its land with blood, with martyrs, with women, with children.
نتنازل عن أرضنا أرض آبائنا وأرض أجدادنا سوف نعود بكل قوة سوف نعود محررين مرفوعين الرؤوس.
We shall return as liberators with our heads held high and carrying the banner of there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger.
Wow, that is just, that is extreme. This is what we're talking about. This is why it's good to hear all sides of the story. And again, I listen to people who are pro-Palestine. I listen to what they're saying. I've been doing digging. I listen to the documentary. I've listened to their thoughts. I've listened to their words. And I'm listening now to Israelites as well. Okay? The people that are saying things, and I'm comparing the two messages. Friends, it doesn't look good for Hamas and the Palestinians. Their perspective when it comes to addressing evil, the way they consider what life is, the value of humanity, the way they treat little babies, is black and white. Now we can agree maybe the Jews have some issues. The people in Israel are not perfect. I'm totally agreeing with you. But the level of evil we're talking about here from those Palestinians, at least from Hamas, from the Islamic world, at least the extreme ones, friends, it's not even close. So you got to come to your own conclusion, of course, but I'm just telling you this is where I've come to. I realize there's really some really strong, determined, I'll tell you what, serious evildoers out there in the world.
Our heads held high and carrying the banner of there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger. See, contrary to the peculiar narcissism of many Westerners, there are lots of people around the world who don't think like we do, who don't actually care about their children the way we do, which is why they hide rocket launchers behind their own kids, who will willingly murder Jewish babies just because they are Jewish babies, who have been indoctrinated, cult-like since youth, in a system of cancerous hatred so strong they're willing to commit the worst atrocities since the Nazis and then post them online and celebrate them. Hamas is not like you. Those who celebrate Hamas are not like you. And here's the thing, they exploit that fact. They murder your children and they hide behind their own. They rely on your cultural narcissism to make you believe the death of the kids they are hiding behind is somehow your fault. You see, if they care about their kids the way you do, it must be your fault when their children die in airstrikes they provoke while hiding behind their own children. They expect you to care more about their kids than they do themselves. But what's more important, they expect you to believe that they care about their own children when they manifestly care more about other things, about destroying the state of Israel, about murdering every Jew in their bed. They cannot be reasoned with and they cannot be negotiated with. Now, listen, all of this is awkward for those who believe in a supposed universal human liberalism in which we all seek the same thing. We all seek freedom. We all seek a decent way of life. Here's the thing. Not all human beings think the same way. We don't. I know this is hard to believe about any human beings, but it happens to be true, even if it is a seriously hideous truth, perhaps the most hideous truth. Hamas does not think like you. We do not all seek the same thing. We do not share the same values. Now, you know how I know we don't? Not just because Hamas says it and proclaims it, because of what they do and then what they broadcast and celebrate doing. The Nazis at least tried to hide their genocide. Hamas cheers it. They hand out candies to children to celebrate the murder of babies and the rape of women. I've seen the pictures and I've seen the videos and I've watched the tapes they release, the tapes they celebrate. You've seen them too on this show. The myth that everyone is a Westerner underneath has to end, or the West is going to end, because narcissism is the preserve of the safe and the fat and the happy, but reality comes with shocking and brutal violence unless we wake up. And the only thing that wakes us up, the only thing, is looking the ugly reality of evil directly in its evil face. And that's why I'm showing you this ugly reality, that hideous reality. I don't want to do it, but we have to do it because we have to wake up, because if we don't.
I agree. This is the thing. Have you noticed on my channel, I've been talking about some of these issues. Why do I do it? This is the reason right here. Some of us don't realize the nature of evil. And I think even God allows certain things to happen in the world just so that you make a decision, so that you realize this is not heaven. This is not it. This is not paradise. So we need to understand we live in a serious, sinful, and a wicked world. And that's supposed to actually help us to choose the Lord who is good. It's supposed to wake us up from our carnal security and help us to realize this world is not perfect. And we need to teach that. Even as Christians, we need to teach that. This is not the world that God intended for us to have. We are living in a sinful, corrupted world dominated by evil. Satan is roaming the streets of our world today. We need to wake up to the realization of that. And what's going on over there, friends, it has to be a warning to all of us. The enemy is not playing.
That hideous reality. I don't want to do it, but we have to do it because we have to wake up. Because if we don't, the West, we will sleepwalk our way right into our own extermination. So, I'm going to show you more stuff today that's going to shake up your sleep. I'm going to show you more stuff today that's going to remind you of the people that the West faces down, the people that Israelis are facing down right now in the Gaza Strip. I'm going to show you more of what they do, what they say, what they celebrate. I'm going to show you more of that because this peculiar, pseudo-sophisticated idea about foreign policy, well, it's all just about negotiations, that you can negotiate your way into magic with people who wish to murder you and your children. That is not just foolishness, it's dangerous foolishness, truly dangerous foolishness. So I've been combing through all of the video and audio. It is flowing out at an extraordinary rate from Hamas, videos posted on various websites, from people on the ground, first responders who are taking pictures of what's happening. These are pictures of the entrance to Kibbutz Be'eri. That is one of the sites where over 100 Jews were found murdered.
Okay, we got to stop right here. All right, this is where, we can't play that on the channel because YouTube is definitely going to go hard after us. So that's one thing. And secondly, I will say it's good to continue the presentation because he ends up really sharing some things that I will say it's best you go and check it out from his channel. But on our channel, we are unable to do that. We're a small channel and YouTube is already giving us a lot of age restriction and shutting us down in many different ways. So, and we want to respect the side of this thing. But here is, friends, that's the reality. This is the reality here. I wish I could say otherwise. I wish I could tell you that we are living in good times. Everything is going to be all right. I wish I could also say that I wish I could sympathize so much with the group that are saying they are here for freedom fighters. I can't do that because the extreme way they go about doing that, we're going after children, women, the stuff that they're pushing is so bad that there is no justification for it. The Bible tells us, awake that thou sleepest, arise from the dead, and Christ shall give thee light. See ye then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Wherefore be ye not wise, be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. We are living in evil times. It's not time to be foolish anymore. It's time to wake up. It's time to be wise. It's time to discover the will of God. It's time to wake up from our spiritual stupor. It's time to stop playing games. We are living in war times. We are living in biblical apocalyptic times. And my appeal is through this video is, instead of picking side this and that, let's take a listen. Let's take a look at the condition of our own hearts and draw closer to Christ and plead for the lives of people generally, whether they are Jew or Palestinians. Plead and weep for their lives, because no matter which perspective and which thoughts you take when it comes to this, at the end of the day, we're talking about individuals for whom Jesus died. But at the same time, we cannot be gullible. They are evildoers in our society. It's not something to smile at, play with. It's something that should shake you from the comfortability of your Western perspective which we so dearly enjoy in this country. But this is the reality. I don't want to say too much. I want to end this video right here by saying, listen, friends, it's time to wake up.